Hello everyone and welcome into the February 2026 John 12th shareholder meeting. Please come in, have a seat, and make sure you sign the sign-in sheet on your way in. If you wouldn't mind, this month we're going to actually seat one space between everyone, so make sure there's an empty seat to your left and right. I did receive an anonymous email about personal space, and so we're trying something new here at John Wolf Enterprises. Make sure that you have one space in between you and your co-shareholders. Thank you. If you have never been to a shareholder meeting before, as you're filtering in, let me, well, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, if you want an explanation of what it is, basically it's just a monthly meeting where I go over videos that we uploaded, or I uploaded for you over the last month. And we review the goings-on and we talk about what's happening in the next month. This might be the shortest shareholder meeting ever because it was really simple what happened. Well, I don't know. You know me. I like to yap, so it might actually be really... It's probably going to be 20 minutes long like always. Yes, so let's go ahead and hop into it. The last shareholder meeting for January, actually, January is what it was called. Was announcing that January was going to be a month in which I played a bunch of old Resident Evil games in anticipation of Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9, releasing at the end of February. That's this month. Now, January has concluded, but February has just begun. And I've yet to come up with a kitschy name for March, but I'm sure I can think of something. So yeah, this month was mostly Resident Evil games, but there was a couple other things thrown in as well. We started, of course, with Resident Evil 1 Remake, which was met with thunderous applause. Went through the entirety of the main campaign with Jill in just 4 videos. And I think people were, the reviews are in and they're positive. People were glad to see the game again. It had been a while since I played it, at least 5 years. So I was glad to get back into it. Still holds up. You know, I think most of the comments were like, wow, what a great game, just over and over and over again. So that's always good, if a bit uninteresting. But what is there to say about Resident Evil 1 at this point, right? Yeah, so we did that, and then with one of my co-op groups, Easy Small, Gary, Gab, and Sino, we played Resident Evil Outbreak, File 1 here, and File 2 here. The reason that I wanted to specify that, I got a little lazy with the thumbnails, and for File 2, I just put in the File 2 logo. So I think this one has significantly fewer views because people thought that they already watched it because it looks so similar to this one. This one has over double the number of views. So I don't know. It might just be a thing where people were like, okay, well, I watched File 1 and not exactly a barrel of monkeys. Didn't have a great time with it because it's, I don't know. I'm just making things up. I'm making up a guy right now. So play along. But also it could be people were like, well, that video was 7 hours long and I haven't gotten through it yet. So they haven't gotten to File 2. But, you know, you don't have to watch File 1 to see File 2. They're events that happen concurrently. It's just multiplayer, or co-op rather, Resident Evil. But yeah, that was, let's see, 7.5 and almost 15 hours worth of Resident Evil there. We went through the entire games. It's 2 full games and 2 videos. So had a great time with it. And it also kind of fills in some information leading up to Resident Evil Requiem because one of the main characters, played by Gab, here, the blonde lady in red, her name's Alyssa Ashcroft, and she plays a role in Resident Evil Requiem. So we decided to replay Outbreak. It had been a number of years since I had played it, and so, yeah, we thought it'd be fun I thought it'd be fun to do it during Resident Evil month, as I was calling it, when we were planning at the end of 2025, so... Yep, that happened. Did one DVD video with my friend Devi, and that was fun. I'm just not playing as much DVD these days, but I'm still trying to do a sesh every now and then to upload. It was funny when I uploaded it, people were like, where's Resident Evil 2? And I'm like, okay, I never said I was doing them back to back to back, right? But yeah, Resident Evil 2 did happen. Now, Resident Evil 2 Part 1 had some difficulty It got age restricted. Age restriction on YouTube, just to give you a cliff notes, doesn't just mean, well, you have to click a little button that says, oh, I'm 18 years old and I can watch this. YouTube will do its best to hide the video from everyone. Right now, it's still discoverable. Like, you may actually see it in search results, but with like a blurred thumbnail. They do that. You might see it in your recommended even, but as time goes on, it won't be like that anymore. I know this because I uploaded 2 videos of the Mortuary Assistant on my main channel years ago. And while part 1 was fine, part 2 got age restricted. And it didn't make much of a difference in the short term, but in the long term, I've gotten so many comments that are like, why did you never finish the Mortuary Assistant? He never finished this game. Where's part 2? Because they can't find it. You know, because once it's been years, you know, going to my channel and scrolling down for forever is kind of more of a chore. Now, I think what helps is that this is in the playlist, but age restriction on YouTube does some funny things. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't available in the playlist. People have trouble linking to age-restricted videos on YouTube. People were trying to do that in my Mortuary Assistant comments to no avail. I don't know why it is. YouTube is just really weird about age restriction. Even if you're signed into your account and you're 18 years old, YouTube will still make it difficult for you to get to. Sometimes, you know, you can't watch it on like a smart TV, people were saying, or like there's just weird little restrictions here and there. So I was trying to avoid this. I actually uploaded Resident Evil 2 Part 1 much earlier than the live video here, and it got age restricted, and I was like, oh, damn, okay, that's weird, because my original video that I uploaded 8 years ago on my main channel isn't age restricted, and it has all the same stuff in it. And YouTube doesn't tell you what content is age restricted, so you just have to guess. So we ended up censoring like 4 cutscenes for a total of like 20 seconds total, maybe. Some blurs, some crops, things like that. We actually didn't end up getting it. It was, there was what ended up triggering it that we missed was a gas station. The gas station zombie at the very beginning, there's like a close-up of him ripping a guy's neck, police officer's neck, and it zooms in on it, and that's what was causing the video to get age restricted. So I have a version that's not age restricted that's uploaded, and it hasn't been hit with it, but I kind of don't see the point in putting it up now. I don't know. I might just randomly have it go live just to have an option out there. But there was not a strong response, but there were a lot of people being very dramatic in the comments about like, I am not going to watch a censored version of Resident Evil 2. It's like, okay, well, we're talking about like 20 seconds out of 3 hours, and it's only on part 1. Everything else was fine. The only reason I did it is because when I initially uploaded it, it was like age restricted, and I was like, oh shit. So I just had to figure out, I had to do something, because, you know, it has 50,000 views, which is great, but it would have a lot more than that if it wasn't age restricted. And I don't really care about that on my end, but if I upload a video, I want you guys to be able to watch it. That's like the whole point of this, me to put a video up and you to watch it. So that's more of where I'm coming from. Like, you know, there's no ads on the video because it's age restricted. Again, I don't care about ads. If I cared about ads, I would just put mid-rolls on and you guys would get 30 ads per video. But I don't do that. I don't care about that stuff. I just want you to be able to watch it. That's the bottom line. And age restriction on YouTube, unfortunately, makes that kind of tough. So that was a frustrating experience. But other than that, Resident Evil 2 Remake up. I did Leon A, Claire B, and finished it in 5 videos. Coming up, did Resident Evil 3 in just 2 videos, and boy, it's just one of those games that, you know, I played it initially 5 years ago when it came out, and I didn't really have much time to think about it because of life events at the time, but playing it again, I am thoroughly underwhelmed, I will say. And that was mostly it for the Resident Evil games in January. We played the first 3 Resident Evil games, all remakes, and then Outbreak File 1 and 2. So 5 different Resident Evil games. I would have done more. I got sick at the end of January. It kind of slowed things down a little bit for me. Speaking of which, I did play a non-Resident Evil single-player game called Quarantine Zone, which I decided to play because it's kind of like No, I'm Not a Human. You know, you have to, you work at a zombie apocalypse checkpoint, as it says in the title in part 1. And you have to check people for symptoms of if they're a zombie or not, if they have like bites or if they have rashes or, you know, anything. All sorts of silly things like that. It is a game that kind of lost its charm by the end of it for me, but I still had fun with it, and it had really good reception overall. People were really into it, which I think just any type of imposter style game, any sort of anomaly, doppelganger game like that, I'm probably going to try from this point on, because I really like No, I'm Not a Human. I played That's Not My Neighbor and stuff. Who knows? I might even play Papers, Please at some point. But yeah, that was a fun game to throw out there, Quarantine Zone. And I wanted to show that also I'm kind of attuned to indie horror, and it's not just Resident Evil games that are going up. I'm going to be playing some stuff in between. Speaking of non-Resident Evil games, I started up a playthrough of Sons of the Forest. Now, this is actually kind of a sequel series in part. This is actually the second Forest game, and I played the first Forest game with my friend Max, who I haven't made a video with in quite some time, probably since the Among Us videos that I uploaded 5 years ago. But Max is back in Sons of the Forest, and so is our friend Porg, who some of you, if you frequent live streams, you know who Porg is. If you don't, they're a wonderful surprise. So the three of us have been playing Sons of the Forest. We got into a little bit of trouble, a little bit of ticky-tack trouble in part 1 because Max, not me, as some, people kept accusing me of doing this. Max killed a couple NPCs, right? The ones featured in the thumbnail here, which I put them in the thumbnail in part 2 to be like, see, they're fine. Because they came back to life somehow. But yeah, people in the comments were like, why did you kill Kelvin in Virginia? And I'm like, me? I didn't do anything. I didn't kill anyone. Kelvin was accidentally killed with a grenade while trying to fight the enemies. Max mistook Virginia for a mutant because, well, she is one, but she's not a bad mutant. There's mutants on the island, and they have extra limbs or fingers and stuff like that. So Max killed both of them, but one was on accident, and technically both were on accident, but some people took it really personally in the comments, and were like, the playthrough is ruined now, and I'm like, wow, okay. First of all, it wasn't done on purpose. Second of all, like, we've never played this game before. Third of all, we don't play it for the narrative, right? There's a narrative to the forest, but we are more interested in treating it like it's a sandbox game, and so there's 3 videos right now. And we just recorded part 4 last night. Let me tell you, part 4 is when things really get going. I'm going to be uploading that in just a couple days. We are continuing a storyline that was developing in the first Forest game, where we made a hotel. It was multiple floors. We would have guests at the hotel, who are the cannibals on the islands, and they would always try to kill us, and so we'd have to, forcibly remove them from the premises. Anyway, it was just a little bit of fun role-playing, sandbox gameplay. We basically treat the forest like it's Minecraft, and so we are in the process of constructing a brand new hotel, and I'll just, if you're a fan of the series so far, which, once we got past part 1 and people claiming that the playthrough was ruined, I'm thinking maybe, I understand not liking what happened, but I think by the time you see how things develop on Sons of the Forest, you'll realize that the way that we're playing the game is also really fun too. The way that a lot of people play Sons of the Forest is they play through the narrative, they go into caves, they get the story items, they complete the game in, 20 hours or something like that, and then that's it. We are going to be playing this game for a very long time. I'm just going to prepare you. The next part is, I think, like 5 hours long, so they're going to be long videos, but it's going to be mostly like building and role-playing and just treating it like a sandbox game. We'll do some story stuff too, but that's not going to be the main focus. So Just wanted to kind of clear that up. You'll be seeing Sons of the Forest videos for quite some time in the future. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, it's been fun uploading that. It's been fun playing that, and I'm excited for everybody to see how things are going in part 4 and beyond. All right, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, there's a little Easy Small there. We did a little bit of a double feature here, Ghost Janitors and Paranormal Cleanup, both games in which you clean up haunted houses. You know, we played Paranormal Cleanup before. There's a Lunch Lady level, if you didn't know by the thumbnail. Lunch Lady, it's the same developer as Lunch Lady. So there's a Lunch Lady map with Lunch Lady on it, and it's exactly like in the Lunch Lady game. It's to the point where I'm like, maybe I should get Dom Hayden and Gigi together to play this one, just because we're the Lunch Lady crew, LLC. It was very faithful. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, we had fun with that. We're going to be actually recording something else later today, so there'll be more Easy Small coming, but I'm not sure what yet. We'll have to talk about it during our sesh. Last thing to talk about, we kicked off FebruRE with Resident Evil Code Veronica X. This is a game I've never played before, so I felt awkward putting it in the Resident Evil Replays playlist. But it's kind of going along with the story of the Resident Evil games leading up to 9. So I played through 1, 2, and 3. I played through Outbreak File 1 and 2, and now I'm playing Code Veronica X, which, by the way, there's going to be 6 videos confirmed. So 6 videos of Code Veronica X, and then we will move on to Resident Evil 4 Remake. After that, I already have a Resident Evil 5 video on the channel. Some people don't know about it. Let me look it up real quick. Resident Evil 5. It's Kimmy and I playing it. It's 12 hours long. It's mostly from Kimmy's perspective here. It's from a couple of years ago, 2021, but it's still the whole game. So if you're interested in Resident Evil 5, I'll be putting that in the playlist, but I will not be replaying Resident Evil 5. I am thinking about doing the same thing with Resident Evil 6 because I have the VODs from Kimmy and I streaming it together. And it might be worthwhile to put up like 4 videos, maybe 1 per campaign for Resident Evil 6 of Kimmy and I playing that. Because I'm thinking it prominently features Leon Kennedy, who's in Resident Evil Requiem, so it might be relevant information. Although at this point, I'm not sure how much Resident Evil 6 has been retconned, so it might just be for fun. But I've got to upload those anyway. Now, when I initially announced January, I said that I was thinking about playing Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village, which they're kind of their own story. It's about Ethan Winters and Mia and Rose, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to it before Requiem. And I'm not sure that it's necessarily going to be relevant information because Requiem kind of starts a new storyline. So I might end up actually foregoing those and just doing Code Veronica 4 and then Kimmy and I's VODs of 6. I might do Resident Evil 0 instead. I'm not sure yet. I'd love to replay 7, but I just don't know how relevant it's going to be in anticipation of Requiem, if that makes sense. Finally, no pun intended, I uploaded my full playthrough, 13 hours of Final Fantasy II Pixel Remaster. So for everyone who's been following along with my first time Final Fantasy series, I have played through the first 2 games now. I'm playing through Final Fantasy III at the moment. Progress has stalled for now. It is a long game, and I'm not sure when it will be uploaded. But the problem with these Final Fantasy videos that I've talked about before is that there's some copyright claim trolls out there that claim the music even though they have no rights to it, and I have to wait for them to go away. I have to dispute them and wait for them to go away. So before I publish them. So it might be more than another month for 3. I'm not sure. But yeah, everybody has been... everybody's has been watching that has been loving it. I haven't gotten a whole lot of people that have finished the video yet because it's 13 hours. So, I totally understand that. I upload a lot of hours worth of footage. Like the shortest videos these days are 2 hours. And some of them are 7.5 or 13. And I know that's a lot to get through. So, yeah. Hope everyone has been enjoying the content, though. I'm trying to make sure that even if you're not interested in Resident Evil, that there's still something for you to watch. If you are interested in Resident Evil, that there's always a new video coming through, at least every other day. And as expected, I yapped for 20 minutes. So real quick, going into February, what's the plan? Well, I just kind of outlined it. Finish Code Veronica, start up Resident Evil 4, and finish that. I'll try to upload Kimmy and I's VODs of 6. And then we'll play Resident Evil Requiem on day 1 when it comes out on February 27th, I think is the day. There will also be, next week, a new Chilla's Art game that I'm going to play and upload either the day after it comes out or 2 days after. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to fit it in exactly, but it's called Umigari, I believe. So I'll be playing that. I will also be playing the new Blumhouse game, Cresol Theater of Idols, I believe is what it's called. And that's going to be going up pretty soon after it releases. I think it releases on the 10th. I'll have to recheck that, actually. But that's in about a week. Other than that, I am aware that there's a Welcome to the Game 3 demo. I don't really like playing demos these days. I'd rather just wait for the full game to come out. So I am interested in Welcome to the Game 3, but we'll see how I feel about it. The only problem is, I mean, I got really into Welcome to the Game 1 and 2, but I kind of got too into it where I was playing them a lot, and it was, at a certain point, to make content around those type of games, the pressure to make progress in the videos when it's very difficult to make progress. Those are some of the most difficult games I've ever played, Welcome to the Game 1 and 2. I just need to be kind of prepared for that. It's the reason I haven't played Dead Signal. The other game from Reflect Studios that came out at this point a year and a half ago, I think. I wanted to play that, but it's like I have to kind of prepare myself to sit down and figure out the mechanics and figure out how to optimize and meta strat my way through it. And it's just a big time and effort ask compared to just a normal playthrough of a game. Right, and just a normal, like a Code Veronica or a Final Fantasy 2 or a Sons of the Forest or something like that. So I'm still figuring out how I want to approach that, but it is on my radar. So I know a lot of people have been asking about that. As far as everything else goes, so just a little sneak preview. March, Fatal Frame 2 remake comes out. I've been saying this for a while, I think, but yeah, gonna be playing that. I might play the original Fatal Frame 2 beforehand. We'll have to see what kind of time we have. And then after Fatal Frame 2 remake, I have some big plans. So, there might not be a March shareholder meeting until after Fatal Frame 2, and it might be more of a general shareholder meeting because I'm planning on making some big changes that I think you guys will like. If you're really enjoying the Code Veronica playthrough, that's your hint, okay? That's kind of the hint of where things are going for the rest of the year. And with that, we conclude the FebruRE shareholder meeting. Thank you for attending, and next time I see you will probably be mid to late March, just to let you know, where I will have a big announcement about the rest of 2026. So I'll see you then. Thanks for attending. Make sure to sign out on the sign out sheet, which is the same as the sign in sheet. And think critically.